If you have an iPhone, it is likely that it was made in Foxconn's plant in Zhengzhou, China. At the factory dedicated to producing Apple's next handset, the company employs 300,000 people. While many people find their occupations tedious, Foxconn's presence has transformed the surrounding neighborhoods into a hub of bustle and amusement. Hello guys, I hope you enjoy your time here. How are you spending your day? It sounds like you're having a wonderful time. Before we proceed with this video, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please click on the bell to be alerted to our new and fascinating content. Last month, it was revealed that Apple, the world's most valuable business and ostensibly an image of squeaky clean progressive principles, had dismissed labor accusations in its critical Chinese supply chain. According to reports, a major Apple supplier named Suyin Electronics hired workers as young as 14 to keep up with the West's voracious need for Apple products. Suyin was chastised by Apple, yet the two remained friends for months, if not years. With new allegations like this, as well as a slew of other issues related to the brand's production base over the years, we decided it was time to don our lanyards and go inside an iPhone facility in China. So, join us right this minute as we explore inside of Apple's iPhone factory in China. Foxconn is the country's largest private employer, with 1.3 million employees in mainland China. Foxconn has been accused of labor violations, terrible working conditions, and harsh consequences for workers who make mistakes since it began making iPhones for Apple in 2007. Previously, the area around the Foxconn factory in Zhengzhou was mostly farmland. However, as developers create new residences and shops, it is transformed into a booming hub. The Wojin Commercial Square is the most recent addition, and it includes high-rise apartments as well as new stores in an outdoor mall-like setting. On the other hand, assembly line workers are frequently on a restricted budget. Starting monthly salaries for entry-level jobs might be as low as 1,800 yuan, requiring employees to rely on overtime to supplement their income. Workers claimed that visiting cheap internet cafes is a frequent pastime in their spare time. Others like participating in sports activities at their apartment complexes. The facility was created in 2010 with $600 million in funding from the provincial government, almost entirely to service Apple's iPhone manufacturing needs. Even now, the government gives Foxconn a lot of help in the form of tax breaks and subsidies in order to keep production in Zhengzhou. It built power plants, paved new roads to the factory, helped cover energy and transportation costs, and paid bonuses to the factory for fulfilling export targets. Those bonuses totaled $56 million in the first 2 years of output. As the day shift concludes at 6:30 p.m., hundreds of workers pour out of the manufacturing buildings, forming a massive crowd. As the staff prepares to have dinner, the entrances and neighboring roads are packed with vehicles, buses, and scooters. Karaoke and dance clubs, such as this one called Disco Through Time, are among the nightlife options. The club was accepting cover for 10 yen, approximately $1.60 USD on a Sunday night, and a few staffers were on the dance floor. Much of the site is still being developed, despite all of the buildings. Old houses are regularly removed and replaced with contemporary structures. It's not uncommon to see bare ground ideal for construction. Third-party job recruitment centers may be located all over the place, and they make money by bringing in new workers to the Foxconn facility. In their adverts, recruitment stations like this one state that prospective employees can get a job interview and start working the same day. Workers can opt to eat lunch at the factory cafeterias for roughly 7 yuan, which is about $1.10 USD per meal. Some, on the other hand, decide to step out and eat at one of the adjacent food stalls. Workers are eating noodles in this area. The majority of Foxconn employees in Zhengzhou are in their early 20s, and they frequently date one another. They may end up married in some circumstances. However, in order to live together, they choose to reside outside of the worker dorms, in adjacent flats. An apartment like this can cost up to 400 yuan, roughly $65 per month, which is more than double what they pay to share a worker dorm. Suicides do occur at Foxconn facilities, including the one in Zhengzhou, albeit they are uncommon. Families of the deceased have demonstrated outside Foxconn facilities in the past, demanding an apology, a family raises a flag that draws a gathering of workers in this snapshot taken by a worker in June of last year. Suicide, according to Foxconn, is a complicated issue for which no single cause can be identified. The factory's majority of employees are between the ages of 18 and 25, with interns as young as 16. There was a fairly even mix between males and women among the personnel we saw over the course of a day. The majority hail from Zhengzhou, or villages in Henan, China's poorest province, with a population of 93 million people. Access into the Foxconn building yielded a lot of information. Around 7 a.m., day shift workers started pouring through the factory's gates. Those who can afford it use scooters, but the majority of students walk from neighboring dorms or take the bus if they reside in buildings further away. A Foxconn employee at the company's iPad manufacturing plant in Chengdu, China, files down the distinctive Apple logo. Workers claim to be able to process 6,000 units per day. Thousands of migrant laborers often line up outside of Foxconn recruitment facility in Shenzhen, China, in the hopes of being hired by the electronics behemoth. On Foxconn's Shenzhen Longhua campus, suicide prevention nets bordered the dormitories. In the spring of 2010, these nets were put on every building in response to a series of employee suicides. In 2010 and 2011, a spate of suicides among Foxconn workers prompted Apple and Foxconn to make reforms at the factory. In January, another industrial worker in Zhengzhou committed suicide. While the rest of the roommates sleep, a Foxconn employee usually wakes up for their night shift. In the Foxconn dormitories, 8 workers share a single room. From separate parts to finished boxed products, a single iPhone takes slightly under 24 hours to assemble. This includes a 6 to 8 hour burning phase for the software. Employees will be required to wear anti-static bunny suits in specified clean zones. The camera module for Apple's iPad is being assembled by these workers. The salary is much more surprising. At Foxconn, the average beginning wage is roughly $285 USD per month, or 1.78 USD per hour. Even 80 hours of overtime is regarded so insignificant by the Chinese government that no payroll taxes are deducted. Outside the factory is a business park. The business park, which spans more than 2.2 miles and houses dozens of structures, appears to be like any other. On every street corner, there are trees. Police and security officers and employees on break camp out in the shade. This area had nothing but dirt and corn and wheat fields a decade ago. Local farmers were purchased out by the government in 2010, and the factory was up and running within a year. The complex contains broad boulevards to accommodate the numerous buses that bring workers in and freight vehicles that transport things out. The campus was designated as a bonded zone by the province administration, indicating that it is considered a foreign territory by the Chinese government. The deal enables Foxconn and Apple to virtually import and export goods for sale in China and around the world. The bonded zone, an odd arrangement, is one of the bevy of benefits awarded by the Zhengzhou government to Foxconn. The New York Times has an excellent exposé on how it works. A makeshift quarter of low-slung stores has sprung up just outside the entrance gate to cater to industrial workers who don't want to eat at Foxconn's campus canteen. Many of the restaurant proprietors are former Foxconn employees or locals who relocated to take advantage of the new facility. So, what does Apple's future hold for its labor practices? The cost of labor in China will surely rise as living standards improve. As a result, the factories may be forced to relocate. Foxconn was recently chastised for inflating its personnel requirements to Apple in order to illegally profit from the Californian company. As a result, the two titans' relationship isn't always cordial. In 2017, undercover student Zhang noticed that numerous stations on the production line where he worked had already been taken over by robots, known as Foxbots, in-house. This is a tendency that will undoubtedly continue. However, for future iPhones, let's hope Apple's manufacturing procedures live up to the company's lofty brand objectives, and that one of Steve Jobs' later disciples can at the very least assist someone in finding a nice job. What are your thoughts? Is it reasonable for Apple to keep suppliers at arm's length in order to keep end-user expenses low? Please, tell us what you feel in the comments section below. Please, Remember to like this video if you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell button to be notified whenever we upload videos like this one.